Welcome to DMM Downloads. We are podcasting another conversation about DMM between Jeff Crabtree and me, Rudy Rivera. Jeff and I are teamed together in Northern Colorado in a ministry we call DMM NOCO. DMM NOCO is unleashing disciple-making movements in Northern Colorado, and we thought it a good idea to start a podcast as a way to bring awareness and resourcing to ordinary people who are passionate about making multiplying disciple makers in our natural networks. Thanks for joining us in this journey. We hope you get a DMM download from this conversation. Well, hey, Jeff.
Rudy, my friend.
We're recording in 2025, but I think this will be the first episode of 2026.
Wow, a new year?
A new year.
Wow. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. If the Lord wills it, we're going to have a fantastic couple of weeks here. So kind of giving you, pull back behind the curtain a bit. Jeff and I are recording in December, but we do this often. We pre-record and then episodes air when they air. Jeff's taking time off in January, so we'll be recording some episodes this week to kind of prepare for the early 2026. But when you're listening to this, it's most likely in 2026, and we welcome you to the new year. Happy New Year. Yeah, we're excited about that this coming year. We got some plans that we'll be unveiling here in the next couple of episodes. But for today, we want to kind of talk a little bit more about this idea that you and I have been talking about for years. Been to conferences. We've been in a room of hundreds of people praying and talking about this subject as well. But the continued subject, and I heard this yesterday. This is why I'm bringing it up. I heard it from another pastor. Oh, it's DMM are those things that work over there, and they're kind of pointing to Asia, Africa, Latin America, Global South. But it doesn't seem to work here, North America. And we're North Americans. We live in Timnath, Colorado. We're concerned, for us primarily, we're concerned about disciple-making movements in Northern Colorado, which is focusing on about 600,000 plus lost people, unchurched people in our region. So for us today, I thought it'd be good if we could talk about that idea. It works over there, but it doesn't work here or won't work here. Jeff, take it away. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I think that is a common response. Again, I've been in the movement world, I think 8.5 years or so. When I used to talk about movement, because it was kind of unknown, I had a little more opportunity to expand on what it was and maybe why it was worth leaning into and looking at it. But as DMM is seemingly now got off the sideline into the game, I think in North America, that tends to be the common pushback that I've heard, especially from clergy or pastors. I don't know, I hear it that much from the average person, but clergy pastors are, DMM, disciple-making movements, probably tend to work and flourish in Global South is because their whole culture is communal or community-oriented or driven. And maybe rightly so. I maybe even had some of those thoughts and concepts early. But what you and I have talked about is instead of just accepting that as a norm, could we take that comment, well, yeah, it might work over there because they're more communal or community, and take that comment and put it under the microscope and take a look deeper at that and understand why we say that, and is it legit? Should we challenge that? I think we should, and we can, and that's what we want to talk about is, I would put it maybe in this context, Rudy, is communal or community or more life on life, is that a little more biblical than maybe what we're doing? Then if that's the case, then it requires us to say, well, instead of discounting that it could happen here in North America, maybe we need to say, well, maybe we need to lean into how do we address that issue and how do we become a little more community oriented in faith, a little more communal, a little more biblical. They met in the temple, but home to home, house to house. So I guess what you and I have said is, instead of going, well, yeah, okay, maybe we need to challenge that a little bit and say, maybe we need to try to help lean in and cultivate, pioneer, create more communal or community so that disciple making can flourish or be a bit more organic or a bit more multiplicative in a North American culture.
Yeah, the phrase, it works over there but not here, from pastors specifically, honestly just sounds defeatist. One, kind of like hopeless, and then dare I say, even like as some kind of spiritual depression or spiritual stronghold working against the heart of God for movement, heart of God for His Spirit to be unleashed, to bring freedom, joy, life to the people of North America. It just feels like, well, it is what it is, and I guess we're confined to just doing our hour and a half and a week, once a week. And the other thing I'd say is, I think pretty much every church I've ever been in, maybe with the exception of yours currently, I hear most of us develop systems or small groups or something to tackle the life on life. But I think we kind of know that doesn't quite scratch the itch we're talking about. But anyhow, I don't want to sound just really negative, but I just think that's the sense I get, is it's just, boy, it's a defeatist statement. Boy, that's just how it is, Rudy. We're just not going to be like that. And I feel like, why not? Like, why can't we change? Can we not trust God to change? Like, especially for what's at stake, right? Like, there's so much at stake. Why wouldn't we embrace God's heart for how humanity works a little more communally, if it's going to help reach His heart for the lost? Anyhow.
Yeah, my response that I hadn't thought about might be twofold. One is, I'm getting ready to turn 67, so I'm tired.
Yeah.
I've been doing ministry a long time, in my 48th year. So maybe some of our listeners, or that response is because maybe we're saying that because maybe we even tried it.
Oh.
When we were younger in ministry and tried to create that, but that doesn't always attract people to our Sunday mornings, to our facilities. And it doesn't always keep people because we're pretty quick and fast. And so maybe we're a little bit tired. So to think, well, how do we make a dent in biblical community, because that's going to take a lot of hard work, and people aren't probably going to want to do that. We're pioneers, entrepreneurs, reformers. That's the curve of innovation, only maybe 15% of us. And then the other thing, I think we talked about this earlier, is, but I don't know that the next generations or Gen Zs we were talking about, they're looking for that. That's why a lot of them don't come to, I didn't say this, Barna, Lifeway, others who do the research, even though I think there's a little resurgence back, but Gen Zs, they're looking for authenticity. They're looking for relationships. They're looking for community. And so those of us that are older, I don't know who's listening on our podcast, but that maybe it is time to lean into, yeah, it does happen over there because of that. And so how do we learn from the global South to learn how to do community a little different or a bit better or maybe deeper? How do we learn how to be more communal? Obviously, I go back to theology. The Trinity was communal, was community. So maybe we're on the threshold of a breakthrough. Maybe we're on the precipice of Western Christianity, North American Christianity, saying we're not going to say, well, it works over there, but it won't work here. Maybe we're saying, maybe we can lean into that and it will work here.
Mm-hmm.
And that it will be, could be catalytic for meeting the needs of human beings in North American context.
Yeah, that's, wow. So do you have a thought on kind of that maybe word? So like, maybe we could, maybe we would lean in. Do you have any thoughts on how does one do that? If somebody's listening to the podcast and they're like, but Jeff, I'm trying to lean in that direction, but I don't know what to do.
Well, if I had the answer, I'd write the book. And
there you go.
All I could say from my own life experience, and you know this to be true, Rudy, that here just recently in the last couple of months, the Lord has brought into my sphere of influence or my relationships some younger guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't unpacked all this to you, but we're trying to lean into what would it look to be a band of brothers. I know that's kind of a cliche, but we're trying to say, how could we deepen and live life together, ourselves, our wives, our kids, whatever it might be. That 4 of those out of the 6 or 7 are in their 30s. And so I've talked with some of them individually, and so we've been talking about band of brothers, being disciple makers, planting churches. And I basically said to them, I don't know what it would look like to be a band of brothers. That's not my era. That's not my era of Christianity, if I could put it that way, at my age. So I said, will you guys come together and come up with the ideas? What would that look like to you? What would community look like to you? What would be more communal look like to you? What more band of brothers? So I guess what I'm saying is I don't have the answer, is I think we need to, depending on what age bracket you're in, who's listening, I think we need to ask the younger millennial Gen Zs, can you help us figure out what does that look like? And you and I have talked about, you said you want to look for younger people. We've been praying for DMM, and especially in northern Colorado, we need more younger people. Remember how long we've prayed for that? 5 or 6 years? But Rudy, I can tell you the names, Israel and Kevin and Nick and Scott. All these guys are in their 30s or 40s. I didn't even realize it till right now. Rudy, did you see he's answered our prayers?
Yeah, wow. Praise the Lord.
Did you even register that?
No.
I hadn't either till right now.
Yeah.
So you asked me that question, is we need to find these, or pray for, find, and let God bring to us these younger guys who don't have, if you will, the baggage of 40-some years of ministry, developing the system, church as we know it. They're looking for something different, so maybe we ask them, how do we become more authentic and community-oriented?
Whoa, Jeff. That's a good assignment.
Huh?
That's a good assignment. You know, because what I'm thinking is, because you and I have talked about this, I think it would take humility. I think it does take humility for the church in the West to look to the global South and to say, teach us.
Yep.
Right. And I will tell you, again, from pastors, the thing I've heard is they've admitted the need to learn, but they've said when you start to learn from them, you see their flaws. And Jeff, it's been really sad to me, but they've pointed out
so
flaws.
They have more flaws than we do in the West.
Exactly.
Oh,
I've been like, oh my goodness, Lord.
Well, I'm glad to know that, because I feel better about myself now, right?
Yeah, right.
No,
exactly.
I got more flaws.
Jeff, it was so sad, but I've heard guys say yeah, they're communal, but there's a high degree of alcoholism, or there's a high degree of marital abuse, And so you start to point flaws out of other cultures and to say, see, they don't have it all together either, so why would we learn? And I just keep going, but they have these other things that I think we ought to learn from. And I just heard you say, maybe us older guys, and I'm going to put myself a little bit in that camp there, to say, we could learn from Gen Z, for example. We could learn from these younger generations to say, teach us about this community that you're so desiring and longing for. And maybe we help shape it. Maybe we don't. Maybe part of our role is to champion them. So we'll see where that goes. But
well, I think that's very counterintuitive to believe after I'm in my 48th year that some 30-year-old might know more than I do. I don't want to admit that, but I think that's the flesh. And I think that was the thing that we've talked about that was a challenge for me exploring disciple-making movements is I kind of knew how to do it. I was kind of the expert. And so to humble myself and relearn or unlearn is counterintuitive. And so the point being, again, with these guys, I can disciple them. I can take them through our disciple-making habits training. But I told them, I don't know how to develop a band of brothers. I'm next month in 67. I've never been in a band of brothers. I've been a professional clergy for a long time. I've been in staff meetings and had staffs and led small groups, but my wife and I've really never lived life on life. And so, yeah, I'm probably going to have to humble myself and say, we're going to have to learn from them, but maybe for such a time as this, North American culture might be able to humble ourselves and learn from the younger generation, but learn from our brothers and sisters in the global South how to lean into community a bit better, which then is the seed bed for implanting the DNA of movement, which then can be organic.
that's really well said. And I want to tease out here the next couple of weeks because we'll record some more episodes as we close this one out. But we're going to hopefully be bringing on some guests in 2026 here to kind of give us their thoughts on some of these subjects and kind of lean into disciple-making movements across North America. But I just want to add there, Jeff, one, I'm just really thankful that you'd share that about being humble and trying to learn and grow from these younger people. But it makes me think, what we said maybe episode 1 or something, disciple-making movements, we're lifelong learners, right? So, hey, in 2026, I want to commit here with you, Jeff. I want to learn and learn and learn. Learn from the Global South, learn from the younger generation, learn from you, learn from others. And that's why we're really doing these DMM downloads, is trying to learn from each other and learn from the Lord through other resources, how we can bring disciple-making movements to Northern Colorado and wherever else you're listening for that matter. So thanks for listening. We'll be back with another DMM download in the next week. Thanks, Jeff, for that engaging download. In DMM, we like to say that disciples are learners. I know I'm learning a lot from my conversations with you, Jeff. From all of us in DMM NOCO, we hope you got a DMM download from the conversation today. Don't forget to leave this podcast a review wherever you are listening online. If you found this conversation helpful, please head over to our site, dmmnoco.com, where you can find more content for your DMM journey, including a self-paced Habits of a Multiplying Disciple course. The course is designed to give you practical next steps to becoming a DMM practitioner and multiplying disciple maker. You can take that course for free at dmmnoco.com. We will be back next week with another engaging DMM download episode. Until then, may you hear from God through His Spirit and take simple steps of obedience in what you hear.